we are going to transition to our sharing. If we're a little early on when we told people we'd start the live feed, so if someone's like, hey, when are you sharing? Or we the sharing's already started, they can always go back. And because it's live, but you can always go back. And then we will post all this so you can share with family and friends afterwards as well. So I want to bring up Cody. Cody, just to kind of frame this time and just kind of set the tone for what we're going to do next. So thanks, man. Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew.
This one? This one. Yeah, a little bit. It's going to be background noise. That's the hard thing.
We can turn that fan on right there.
But it is getting hot.
There we go. We still good on the video? Cool. Great. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate everyone coming out and celebrating us coming back. It's really awesome to have so many people. Yes. Give it up. Yeah. Really awesome to have so many people coming to support us and to hear what God did in the wilderness. I'm going to stick to my notes so that I don't ramble. I'm generally a quiet person, but when I'm nervous, I talk a lot. So, yeah, I think, first of all, I want to say a lot of thank yous. I have a lot of thank yous to say. First of all, to fellow full-time staff members. I didn't mention I'm on full-time staff with Strom, and I've been here since 2022?
I think so, yeah.
So I work with the team that's working year-round to make trips like this possible. So many logistics in the background that are happening. A lot of sacrifice, blood, sweat, tears. And so I'm really grateful for all of you full-time staff that are working alongside of me throughout the year and honestly make a lot happen. Another thank you that I want to make is to our support staff team. All the support staff team, go ahead and stand up and let's give them a round of applause. Yeah. These guys are a team that came together for this summer, and we build a new team every summer, but they help out with all of the logistics. Everything from driving a team to the trailhead to making food for a team at the building to, what else do they not do?
Yeah.
So many gear repairs, all sorts of things. They really help with my job when I'm gone in the summer. So they've done a lot and really have helped put this party together. So very, very grateful for these guys. Really thankful for my co-instructors, my wife Susan. Awesome to lead with you. Brighton, the ultimate adjunct. You did a really awesome job keeping us safe on during our rock climbing sections and during mountaineering. And so he was the one providing a lot of expert advice, expert perspective, keeping us safe, and helping us have a great journey. So he also he's a pretty good guy.
And he can sing.
Yes, he can. You want to give us a solo? Brighton's going to give us a solo afterward. So, another group of people I really want to thank, and some of you guys are here, Susan and I's supporters, both financially and in prayer. I'm a full-time staff with Strom, so we raise our support in order to be here, and really super grateful, especially for those of you guys that are tuning in on the live stream. Susan and I couldn't be doing this kind of trip, doing this ministry without people supporting us, so we're super grateful. And really, you guys made this happen for us, so we're really grateful. And again, for everyone here, thanks for friends and family that are coming in, some from a ways away, and I really appreciate that, because this is really a special moment. I think this is probably, these kind of return parties are some of my favorite moments of the summer. Because, speaking of you guys, half of what Strom does is happening right here, right now. We get to do lots of cool things in the mountains, but honestly, what we're doing is bringing it back here to share with you all what God has spoken so we can help minister to you guys and continue growth in discipleship. I actually wanted to share Strom's mission. In the context of technical, deep wilderness adventures, our mission is to birth and grow mature Christ followers, sons and daughters of light who become loving and loyal disciples who make disciples of all nations. So, in this, we get to participate, our team gets to participate in the work of the gospel by sharing what God spoke to us in the wilderness. Because what he shares there is powerful and effective. You guys are going to hear a lot of transformation, a lot of speaking from God, what he said, his presence, how he changed us. But its purpose is not just for our transformation, but for others' transformation. And it's a space that not everybody gets to go to all the time. Like 40 days is kind of incredible. Sometimes even 5 days or 2 days to get away seems kind of impossible. So we're incredibly privileged with that opportunity. And I want to say, you guys are some of the first people to hear some of these stories that'll be shared tonight. So wanted to invite you into a few things. I wanted to invite you guys into a sacred space. There's a lot that God did, and we want to honor, I especially want myself to be able to honor Jameson and Sam and Caden for sharing for the first time some of these things. So, yeah, really want to honor that and receive that with open hearts and minds. And open hearts and minds to what God could be saying to you through what they experienced. Another thing is some patience and grace for 40 days of experience. And we just got back yesterday afternoon. So we've spent some time kind of condensing and thinking about, okay, what has God taught me? How have I changed? What do I want to share with people? But a lot of it's not quite processed yet, maybe half-baked, or God's still working through that. And so patience and grace for that. There's also going to be some lingo, as with any culture or group. There's things that you'll hear and you'll be like, huh? And hopefully we can do a good job of explaining what happened, because there's a lot of things happening. In those 40 days, we had definitely a ton of different activities. We started out with rock climbing in Vitavu. We spent about 10 days there-ish. And then from there we went to the Snowies, where you saw people jumping down snow slopes with an ice axe. They were learning how to use an ice axe right there. And we had a blast with that. Then from there, we went to the Wind River Range, where we continued backpacking. At one point, they had a 48-hour period of time by themselves, alone with God. They prepped food beforehand, they prepped their shelters, and then they spent time alone with God for 48 hours, which is such a treasure. And then from there, we went into our mountaineering ration, where we got to do a couple of really awesome peaks. And I definitely encourage you guys to ask them after the party, those experiences, what happened there. Then after that, Susan and I kind of stepped back, because at that point, they had learned a lot on how to be, one, independent in wilderness, but also they learned how to travel as a team on their own. So we stepped back, and we kind of disappeared from the picture. And we were camping maybe a mile or so away every night. We were hiking behind them, sometimes in front of them, sometimes spying on them, just they doing okay? All right, they're still walking. But yeah, so then we all came back together, and so it was a crazy experience, and even just what I said, that doesn't fill the half of it. So there's a lot of things going on, and we're going to try to do our best to share. I'm super grateful that you guys get to be some of the first, and I'm super proud of these guys. I know Susan and I both are in Brighton. But yeah, as far as a little bit of more framing for tonight, I read a book about a guy whose name was Anthony. Very early on in church history, some people call him Anthony of the Desert, some people call him Saint Anthony. But there was a guy named Athanasius who wrote a book about him. And Anthony actually kind of did what Strom does in a way, way back in Egypt. And there's a quote from Athanasius about Anthony, about this realization that Anthony had, because he spent years alone in the wilderness. There's like a 20-year stint where he spent time alone with God in the wilderness. But he had this realization. And he had come to this truly wonderful conclusion, that progress in virtue and retirement from the world for the sake of it ought not to be measured by time, but by desire and fixity of purpose. 40 days is an amazing accomplishment, and we got to do a lot of really cool things. But all of that is just kind of icing and a cherry on top. It was our pursuit of the Father in the wilderness. That's what's going to matter in the kingdom. These three guys are going to have incredible impact moving forward because of what God spoke to them. Identities that were spoken over them, things that they realized, like, man, I was holding on to this. Things that they realized, man, I really want to invest in that when I go home. And yeah, so I'm going to invite Susan to come up next. And I'm going to leave us with this to start. Jesus, quite often in his teachings, would share this and let people's hearts receive what God had for them. As Jesus said, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. All right, Susan, your turn.
Hey everybody, I'm Susan, one of the other instructors on the 40, and it was kind of wild to me to see our slideshow, and I was like back there telling Tyrell that feels surreal, because now we're back in the front country and it's like, yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around all of those moments that happen. So I'm going to start off with sharing a couple highlights. So Cody mentioned like the different activities we did. We referred to them as rations. So ration 1 was rock climbing, ration 2 was backpacking, ration 3 was mountaineering. So we had just finished up ration 3, and we had a couple days that were pretty laid back because we were waiting for the horse packer to come back and bring in ration 5. We had just finished ration 4, so we were waiting for the horse packer to bring in ration 5. And so we had like 3 days at this one campsite, and we actually had a lot of fun where we just kind of hung out and played and explored like little kids. And I saw this rock in this one, like kind of in the middle of the lake, not all the way out, like still close enough that we could reach it. And I said to Sam, who was a swimmer in high school, I'm like, we should go check that out and see if that would be a good cliff jumping rock. And that's what led to us having that cliff jumping opportunity. And we had some pretty hot weather on the student-led portion. So I was like, Sam, let's go up there and like let's just like pencil dive it to make sure it's safe. And Sam got in, and I just kind of stood on a rock. And I was like, Sam, yeah, check it right there. Sam, like, come over a little bit. And I'm just like standing on this rock. And Sam's like, are you going to get in? And I was like, I will eventually. So it worked out very well. And the other really fun experience I had with both Sam and Caden that also involved water. We were at this campsite called Peak Lake. It was in a mountaineering ration. And I had told Sam about this campsite because when I led a 40 back in 2022, my students wanted me to jump in this like pond, this little pond, like ice with ice water, like ice chunks floating in it. And I wouldn't do it, so they threw my bandana in it. And there was a waterfall at the other end, so that meant my bandana was gonna go over the waterfall. So I had to jump in. So I was telling Sam about this, and I was like, Sam, when we get to Peak Lake, we should get in this pond. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. And so we went down. It was a hot day. I got in, screamed, and like ran for the shore. Sam got in and sat in there for 5 minutes. I'm like standing on the rock again. I'm like, Sam's 2 minutes. Sam is 3 minutes now. He's like, oh, okay. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Feeling pretty good. finally he gets out and he's like, oh, I'm so cold. My hands really hurt. And then I'm like, Sam, why don't we go stand under the waterfall at the bottom? So Sam followed me down there, and all this while we were trying to convince Caden, who was like sunbathing like a little turtle. We're like, come on, Caden, you chicken, get in, Caden, come on, Caden, you're so lame. And he's like, no, I'm like enjoying myself. This is nice. I hate cold water. And then Sam and I like hike down to the bottom of the waterfall, and we look up and we see Caden's profile at the top of the waterfall. And we're like, are you coming? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And you can just see like his body's just like, the cold water, I can't. And so he comes down, and I'm like, just lean back under it. He's in there for like half a second. He's like coming back out again. He's like, I hate cold water. But he did an amazing job of jumping off the cliff into the cold water, and then also trying to do some bouldering before he got too cold and had to abort the mission and swim for shore as fast as he could. Another one of my favorite moments is, I don't think you guys saw a picture of it. We have these bug nets that are maybe like 4x6 or something like that. That we cook under for protection from mosquitoes, because they're enough to make you go insane out there at times for certain sections. Cody and I are on the student-led portion, which means we're not with the students. And we're at this campsite called Long Lake, and there's a rock about level with Cody's neck when he's sitting down. And you guys saw that marmot, like, close to the end?
Yeah.
That cheeky one that had his, like, paws on the rock? I'm, like, sitting beside Cody. Cody's, like, right over here. And I look over, and there's a marmot, like, 4 inches from the back of Cody's head.
Wow.
And I'm like, Cody, there's a marmot. He, like, turns around and, like, makes eye contact. He's like, what the heck? That thing was about to nom on my hair. And he, like, stands up, and he's like, I'm going to put the fear of man in that marmot. And the marmot has the audacity to start chewing on the string that was holding our bug net in place.
Wow.
Cody probably spent the next 5 minutes with rocks, just like chucking him at the marmot. And then like the rest of the time while we were packing up camp, we had these 2 marmots just kind of circling us.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a really funny moment for us. And there's so many other stories I could tell, but I'll leave some of the rest of the stories for the students to tell. Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to jump into kind of a theme for the trip. For me, was community, which kind of seems self-explanatory, like we're living in community for over 40 days. But this had a special significance to me because it included a larger community than just the one that we spent time with in the wilderness. And so, to start with, like Cody already mentioned, like the summer staff, the support staff, that do so much work in like making the behind the scenes things happen. But yeah, like I just felt so loved through community in the days leading up to the 40 by the full-time staff, like Andrew taking time out of his day to like call the Forest Service to see if we can stay at a campsite. I felt like Haley every time I turned around. During her course prep, she was like, do you need something? I'm like, she's following me around. Be like, do you need something? But yeah, it just felt super loved. And another way I felt super loved and seen in community was I have some dietary restrictions. And people know that I can eat dark chocolate. And I ended up going to ration 3 with 6 bars of dark chocolate. I think people were a little jealous. The students and Cody, they were like, what? Where are my friends? And I was like, that seems a little bit like overkill. So I actually had Steven take 4 of them back out and put them in rations 5 and 6, or 4 and 5, so I could have them, I could enjoy them later. But I had plenty of dark chocolate on the trip, and yeah, felt very blessed and loved by that. But kind of the most special moment, significant moment of community was actually the night of the party. And that was, okay, let me back up just a little bit and help paint a picture. So my mom passed away May 6th. So Cody and she passed away from lung cancer, and she's 79 years old. So she had lived the life. She had lived a life. We knew it was coming, but we made a very quick trip back east for the funeral, and I came back, and there honestly wasn't really time to process that. Like, we jumped into 40 prep. There was so much happening, and there was a part of me that kind of liked that. As much as I know, yeah, it's healthy to process grief. There's a part of me that was just like, okay, I can just put that on the back shelf. And I don't really have memories of my mom in Wyoming, so like, the memories of her not coming up here. And so I'm not really like processing it too much, and I'm okay with that. But the night of the party, there were two women, Allison Arnold and Diana Seebeck, that came up to me, and they just laid their hands on me and they started praying over me. And I just remember like weeping because I realized in that moment I missed my mom. Wow. And you guys are the age of my mom. Yeah, there was just something really, it felt like the Lord was like giving me a mother's blessing through their words in their hands. And I didn't even realize like that was what my heart was desiring. And longing for. And so it just felt like this really like special gift from the Lord to say like, you're blessed by a mom. And it was weird because I just like stumbled upon it. I wasn't looking for it. It just happened. It was such a gift from God, and I didn't even realize that my heart was like desiring that.
Wow.
And then like, I think, it was interesting on the trip. I had a couple pretty profound moments where I just felt like I got to process the grief a little bit of my mom, of her passing, which is kind of surprising because I was in the wilderness, like far away from my life at home, far away from memories of her. But yeah, I would see these scenes in nature and like just these moments where I just really felt like the Lord was just ministering to me and caring for me. And so I am going to actually share a journal entry that I wrote at this one spot. It's actually during the solo where, as an instructor, your mind is going 24/7 about what do my students need, what is happening with the students, like where are the students at, there's some conflict going on, like you're having conversations with your co-instructors, you're like, you're just investing and pouring out. And so the solo is kind of the first time you really have time to kind of get quiet because your students are out on solo and they're having to deal with whatever is happening on their own. Unless it's a dire emergency, we're like, don't put your emergency flag out. Like, if your tarp blows down, figure out how to put it up again. Which actually did happen, and I think we'll hear about that later. But yeah, so I had some time to just kind of finally slow down. And so I'm just going to start about what I wrote, because this was the first evening that I was by myself and had a kind of a hard time getting quiet. But I climbed and scrambled down a mountain stream for maybe 30 feet or so and found myself sitting in a beautiful patch of grass between two forks in a mountain stream. It was achingly beautiful all around me. The meadow was filled with bright red Indian paintbrushes and bluebells. Who knows what Indian paintbrushes look like? Yeah, a lot of you guys do. What about bluebells? The mountain bluebells, they like to grow along streams. Yeah. And then a name of a yellow flower I didn't know at the time, but I found out later it's called cinquefoil. It grows everywhere. It's a yellow flower, little yellow flower. Kind of looks like a buttercup. It just grows everywhere in the mountains, the meadows. Who knows what cinquefoil is? So a couple of you, yeah, awesome. Before me lay stunning beauty as far as the eye could see, but in my heart I could not reconcile the beauty I was surrounded by with the grief and the loss associated with the day that Dad turned his back to cook her an egg at the stove, and upon turning back found she was unresponsive. Or the moment my heart leapt into my throat when I saw my sister's name on the caller ID and knew that something was up with Mom. Then the hardest time of all, when I said a tearful goodbye to her and told her I loved her and it was time to go, that she would be free from pain and suffering, and I wanted that for her. I wept in the middle of that little patch of heaven of beauty and splendor because my heart doesn't know how to reconcile the raw tragedy of death in the heartbreakingly beautiful place I am in. I knew I was made for more than this. I just know. But in the middle of my tears, the sweet presence of Jesus fell in that place, and we engaged in some conversation. He said, "Susan, beloved." I said, "What, Jesus?" Rather grumpily. His response was, "Susan, your mom is surrounded by so much beauty and is filled with so much joy and peace. Far beyond what you or her could ever have comprehended from an earthly perspective.
Wow.
Sweet Jesus, thank you for engaging the hard questions in my heart and being a safe place to ask hard questions. Thank you for the shoulder to cry on. Thanks that you always enter into mess and you know and see the bigger picture and help me see that. I love you, your daughter, Susan."
Wow.
And a little bit of background. My mom and I, well, for a lot of my family, I don't have a good relationship with them. Things have been hard, difficult in my family. And so it's actually, it was actually a gift to be able to recognize that I missed my mom, even though the things were hard. And there's still that desire to have a mom, even if things were hard. And yeah, I just really felt loved and seen by the Lord in that space, and having that chance to kind of process and grieve that. And so, yeah, I'm gonna kind of shift out of back to the community theme, and kind of what I saw around me, not just what I experienced personally, even though I did experiences as well. But students Caden, Sam, and Jameson. I think we mentioned this a lot on the 40, but having a team of only 3 students is hard. And you guys know that better than anyone else. It's a small team. You couldn't get away from other people. You guys were stuck together. You were stuck together in the same cook group for 40 days.
Wow.
And normally on bigger 40, students will get to switch up cook groups every ration. Also, they switch up tent groups. So these students were stuck in the same tent, smelling each other's farts and stinky feet and some other things that I'm not gonna mention here. Things that are
Don't talk about it.
things that are better left unsaid over on a public platform. You'll have to ask them later if you want to hear that story that I'm referring to but won't say. But just some guys messing around, that's all I'll say. So yeah, you guys were stuck together in the same tent for 40 days, and climbing with the same people, mountaineering with the same people. I just want to say I'm super proud of how you worked through hard things. You had conversations about hard things. You loved each other when people were, quite frankly, at times obnoxious. That's that's just a reality. Let's just state it. All of us, let's be real, all of us, including us instructors, were obnoxious at times. You can't hide your true self for 40 days. It came out at times. And so there's a lot of grace and patience and just working through those things and sharing with each other, cooking together, making amazing food and making nasty food. And yeah, I just want to really honor and respect that and say, not a lot of people are willing to put themselves into that tight-knit of a community. And that takes a lot of bravery and courage. And the vulnerability that ultimately comes with that, of just letting people see your real self. The day you were angry, the day you were tired and food deprived, the day you were just kind of shut down, all of us had those days, right? And yeah, I'm super proud of you guys for sticking it out and for doing the hard work. You're a role model to people in this room, even though you may not recognize that. Yeah, it took a lot of courage to do what you did. I want to thank Brighton as a part of our community, who kind of came in like a butterfly, brightened up our world, and then flitted away over the mountains, and then flitted back in. When we were doing our re-ration, he just came out of the bushes, and guess what he came with?
right next to where they did the reactions.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
And guess what Brighton came with? He is such a kind friend. He hiked in, like, was it 6 pounds of dry ice? With a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream for Cody. Yeah. So Cody got to sit there and eat his pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. But yeah, Brighton, thanks for sticking with us through some of the hard conversations we had. Thanks for all the technical support and expertise you had in just for caring so well and investing in our team, both like physically and emotionally and spiritually. Appreciate that a lot. And then Cody, you're my favorite. Yeah, I think it's hard to find words to express, but I think there are so many small ways that you cared for me that nobody noticed that made such a big difference in my life. Anything from always carrying heavier weight than me, and filtering my water when it became really hard to filter water, because we had these water filters that got really clogged up over time, and it felt like 5 minutes to filter half a liter of water. And so sometimes when you're tired, you're just like, I don't want to go to the creek and get water. And so all those small ways and ways that you listened, cared for me, blowing up my sleeping pad, they're small things, but like they added up into so much care and kindness and tenderness for me. And I'm super glad I got to walk this journey with you. And thanks for all that you've invested and poured into our students. Appreciate that. Yeah. And finally, last but not least, thank you for the community that's here. I just particularly want to honor parents. I know Jameson's parents are not, your mom is not here, but she'll be on live stream, right? I just want to honor you, Caden's parents, Sam's parents, Jameson's mom, because we got to be part of your boys' lives for a really short time. But we got to see the impacts that you guys have had as parents and all the investments that you've made. I just want to honor that commitment as parents. I think when I was listening to you guys talk, I'm not a parent, but I was listening to you guys talk, and I'm like, wow, it is hard to let your child go, to think of them out in the wilderness for 40 days and not know what's happening. And so I just want to honor that, honor the courage and the gift that is. And the Grusendorfs, we heard a lot about you guys.
Oh yeah.
All good things. Better be. Yeah. We'll talk, Cora. We'll talk later. I have some information for. No, I'm just kidding. Sarah, I mean. Right, you're Sarah? Yeah. But yeah, then just the rest of the community that's here that has surrounded us and supported us. Super, super appreciative of that, the roles you played in Cody and I's life and this community here, the Strong community. And without further ado, I think Jameson is up next.
Cool.
Cool. Hello. Yeah. Man, hey, thank you guys for coming to just honor us, to be here for us. Really means a lot. Hello, live stream. Hi, Mom, Gary, yeah, Dave Alexander, whoever's listening, my sister, brothers. I hope you're listening. But yeah, yeah, I can't believe it's over. Watching that video was emotional. Like, this was my life for 40 days. You know, getting water from a creek, hiking like multiple miles a day, just doing stuff you wouldn't do in society. That was my life. And, you know, just doing, I don't know, like the last 24 hours was just like, I don't know, I was thinking like, man, it's weird not doing that. You know, and tomorrow I'm entering a new season of life, and that's just, I don't know, tomorrow's going to be crazy. It's going to be different, and I'm excited and curious. I don't know. Yeah. But, yeah. Yeah, I guess I got a story to tell. Yeah. I guess the backtrack. I was originally supposed to do the 40 last year. And I always wanted to do something in the outdoors, especially a Christian outdoor course. Ever since I was 19, I'm 25 now, but it never really seemed to work out. I don't feel it just wasn't God's will quite yet. But last year was the opportunity, and part of my story is I have epilepsy, and that's something that's been part of my life and my story since I was 15. It's been really challenging. I've had, I can have seizures if I don't take my medicine. I went through a season I was having seizures with medicine. It's a big part of my life, and it's something pretty scary that can happen. But reason I wanted to do the 40 is I have a passion for the outdoors. I was curious about the outdoors and what could happen, and really, I wanted to see what God could do through me with my health. And I called SROM. Tim answered. I feel we had a really good conversation, and I had a really, my application process, it wasn't easy, and SROM really prayed about it, and, I understand it was a lot of prayer, and, they accepted me, and that was, really meaningful to me. But yeah, that was last year. I broke my ankle, so I couldn't do the 40. So came up to, that was kind of a bummer. I was really looking forward to that. But, I feel last year wasn't God's will for me to do it last year. So, I waited a year. I got to finish doing ministry in Las Vegas. I was there for 2 years. I got to do a mission trip to Jamaica and build homes with the hurricane. But yeah, that eventually led up to just a 40. And, I worked out a lot. I feel I got physically, ready to do the 40. And, I was ready. It was I guess we left 40 days ago now. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, yeah. But, no, it was, but no, it just, I felt I was spiritually ready to do it. It was surreal. I just couldn't believe it was happening. And I knew I wasn't really expecting how challenging it would be. To be honest, it was really hard at first. I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't really have fun. And I really considered quitting in Vidavoo, like the first week. And, I felt, I really debated. I really had a serious prayer, like, is this where you want me? And I really knew, like, it may not be fun, but this is where I'm going to become a better person. This is where I'm going to get closer to God. And I was like, I feel the 40 was really, I may have not enjoyed it. I may have not found comfort in it. I felt I had a lot of comfort in society, but that comfort I found in God through the 40. And that's exactly what I wanted. That's what I put in my application process. But, it was hard. I can't believe I did it. I felt God really spoke to me throughout the 40. I feel I've been in ministry and missions, like on and off since like high school, since I was 19. And I really like going in, I have kind of like, don't really know what to do. Like after the 40, like I put a lot of sacrifice into it. Like my job fired me because I'm doing the 40. Like I don't have a job lined up, but to go back to. But I don't know. I'm really curious to see what God's got lined up for me. I honestly felt God was telling me to pursue growing in leadership, however that may be, for missions. Because I have such a, I don't know, I just want to do something great in missions. Like I feel like a kid in candy shop when it comes to opportunities and missions. Like I don't know, I want to go preach the gospel boldly in the Middle East, in China. I don't know if you guys know the 1040 window, but it's where like from East Africa to East Asia, like 99% of it is like non-Christian. So that's just my heart. I want to go there. I want to go to the cities. I said I had a heart for Las Vegas. I want to hope to go back there one day. But no, I'm praying for where God will take me. I feel called to work in a church at home. I feel to really just, as of now, I feel my heart is for my family, to grow them in their faith. So really, I like the saying is going without knowing. Take it each day at a time. So I'm really excited. So I feel I'm going to find out a lot tomorrow. Yeah, the 40, I said I didn't really enjoy it, but it was really good to me. It was life changing. So yeah, yeah, I think, yeah, I'm sad. That video was really emotional. I feel, I don't know, it's just sad that it's coming to an end. But yeah, I feel I'm gonna miss everybody. My group, I was around them all the time, so it's gonna be weird. But yeah, guys, that's my story. I feel that's what God's telling me. Yeah.
Hello, all. My name is Samuel. It's super fun to do the 40. Yeah, and just a bit of context of how I ended up here in this room. I am an outdoor ed and leadership major out at Central Wyoming College. So hoping to do this professionally as a job going forward. And right now during the summer, I am doing my internship with SROM. It's super fun, super great. I get college credit for doing this, and it's so fun. But anyway, I was on a phone call with Melita probably 2.5 months ago. And we were talking about options I could do for my internship, what it'll look like in the future when I do my base internship here in late August. And I really want to do like a hands-on practical part of my internship and like really get some outdoor experience that I haven't gotten through my school. We were talking about different options, and then she was like, there's this really cool trip that SROM does. So you go out for 40 days, 40 nights in the wilderness, no phone, do rock climbing, mountaineering, backpacking. Super fun. You should think about doing it. I'm like, okay, give me an hour. I'm going to go talk to my instructor and call my parents. And so I did talk to them, asked them what that might look like. And I called Melita back. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. I'll do it. Which at the time I did not realize, after talking to Cody and Susan on the trip, that is a very rare thing to happen for someone to just decide 3 months before it happens, in an hour, yeah, that sounds fun. I'd really love to do that. And so it was great. And I got to get I learned a lot of things that I hadn't yet been taught in school, like some rescue maneuvers by Brighton during the rock climbing and Cody. Some different leadership skills that I hadn't yet been at least applied, which was super fun. Mountaineering as a whole, I've never had an opportunity to do that, so that was a blast. Super fun to do it, super fun to learn everything about it. Learn all the different systems, which I am a systems guy. I love all the systems. And it was just a super fun experience. And got a lot of practice through leadership. There was actually this one time we were at the end of ration 3 debriefing what our mountaineering ration is going to look like. And we're going through who's going to be the leader of the day. every day. And there's always 2 leaders of the day. We're going through, and it's like, right, Sam and Caden are going to do this day. And then Sam and Jameson are going to do this day. And then Sam and Caden are going to do this day. And then Sam and Jameson are going to do this day. And then Caden and Jameson are going to do the last 2 days. Afterwards, I'm talking to Cody and Susan. I'm like, why am I LODing so much? And they're like, you said you wanted more leadership experience. This is your internship. Like, so we made you LOD more. I'm like, I did say that, didn't I? Oh, man, what a mistake. Yeah, and so there's a couple other really fun stories that I thought would be really fun to share. Yeah, and I mean, I had a blast. There were hard moments. There were a lot of fun moments. It might have been the month or a little over a month that we spent above 10,000 feet of elevation, making my head a little dizzy, but I had a great time. Yeah, so there was this one time that we just summited Arrowhead, coming back down to the top of the couloir. We're gonna start rappelling down, and we have 80, maybe 85-pound packs at this point. And so the decision was made, like, yeah, we're not gonna wear those while we rappel down. We're gonna figure something else out. We're gonna lower them, do something else. So anyway, we rappel over the first little bit, and Brighton's up top, lowering our packs down over this rock ledge down onto the snow so that Cody can anchor them into the snow at the top of our first rappel. And my pack, who I named Seamus, because he's always falling over like an Irish drunk. Man, we went through it that day. And it all started when my load strap, which is the thing that's meant to carry the pack, it's supposed to be one of the strongest. It's like the handle on top. It's supposed to be super strong, carry all the weight. Brian's lowering it, and the rope's tied to that. And it gets about halfway down the ledge, and it just snaps. Slams on the snow, starts sliding down this couloir towards Cody and Jameson, who are probably freaking out. Like, crap, there's this giant soft boulder heading down towards me. What do I do? Thankfully, Jameson ended up catching it, which was very gracious. It did not slide. Yeah, it did not slide the rest of the 1,000 feet down the couloir. So none of my stuff broke. It was great for me. And we get down. All of us get down. We had some other issues lowering packs. And then we go down another rappel, and lowering packs was not working. They were not going the direction we wanted. It was not a great time. We finally managed to get all the packs and everyone down to the second ledge. And it had taken maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to this point of just rappelling and lowering packs and dragging stuff through the snow. And Susan goes down on the next rappel to set up our next anchor. And everyone is just feeling it. They're having a really hard day. We're all just sitting there, standing on the edge of a couloir, with ledges that we kicked into the snow so that we wouldn't be sliding down. And Cody and Brighton are definitely feeling it. And then Jameson says the funniest thing all trip. He just looks over at everyone and he's like, so how's everyone's day? And Cody and Brighton break immediately and start dying laughing. Little do we know Susan is having the worst time of her life below us, trying to get the next rappel set up. Yeah, so we end up attaching the packs to our harnesses for the rest of the rappels, dragging them down. For some reason, Seamus did not like that. He did not go the way I wanted. He would not slide down the snow. It was horrible. Yes, which is also my most quoted moment on the trip, is just saying, this is horrible. I hate this. Yeah, and so we get down after, 6 rappels, which also frustrated me because I bet Brighton it would be shorter than that. It was not.
Sam,
I don't know why I'm questioning the professional.
how far is each rappel?
What?
How far is each rappel?
Oh yeah, each rappel is about 70 meters long. So we rappel down 6 rappels, about 70 meters long. First one was a little shorter, just so we could stage packs and everything. And I'm very angry at my pack, very tired because my legs are hurting a lot. We get down to the last spot, and we have a good run out on the snow, and we're like, yeah, we can glissade that, which basically means just slide down, do a controlled slide on the snow. And so I'm the first one there, and I push my pack down the snow, and suddenly it wants to slide. So does a really nice slide all the way down. The hip belt starts flapping like it's flying down the snow. Yeah. Stops at a pretty good spot. I'm like, sweet, this is awesome. And then I glissade down, had a great time. My energy went back up. I get down and I'm like, sweet, this was the best day ever. And then I have to drag my pack out of the way, and I put in a self-belay, which is basically we just stick our ice axes super deep in the snow to kind of anchor us when we're on slopes. And I clip my pack into the self-belay, and I clip me into the self-belay. So I'm anchored into the snow, can't really move more than like 3 feet in any direction. Then Jameson sends his pack down. It did not have a controlled slide. It starts flipping, tumbling down the mountain, craps flying out. Like, he lost both his trekking poles. It's all right, we found everything later. Starts tumbling down, and I just look up, dead tired, and it's coming straight towards me. I'm like, just staring at him, like, what do I do? I don't know where to go. So I finally come to my senses and unclip myself, kind of like take off towards some rocks, and then it goes the other way. Probably 100, 200 feet farther than where I was, down a hill, which is not where we were wanting to go. It's so funny. And then Caden sends his pack down and does the exact same thing. Goes 200 feet down, farther than we wanted. Crap flew out. It's very funny to watch. Not so fun for them when they got down and had to walk down the snow slope to get their packs and bring them back. Yeah, it was so fun. It was a great day. And then we had to hike like a mile and a half more to get to camp. Yeah, that was a fun day. I really enjoyed it once I got down, not the actual in the middle part. Something that I often and most people in the outdoor industry like to refer to as type 2 fun. It's horrible in the moment, but looking back, it's the best time ever. And that actually leads to the other story I wanted to tell, which Susan kind of touched on earlier, which is a very type 2 fun. Only it's not really fun, more led to some good things down the road. But it's the first night of solo. I got to my campsite, no one else is around, set up my tarp, which I didn't have a tent or anything like that. I have a nice tarp, anchored out the sides with some boulders, had my trekking poles holding it up, make a nice little A-frame tent. I'm like, great, this is a great shelter. Sit around for 6 hours not knowing what to do until it's bedtime. I'm like, finally, it's bedtime. So I go under the tarp, crawl into my sleeping bag, lay on my mat, and I'm like, this is gonna be a great sleep. And then it starts pouring rain. Thunderstorm, lightning everywhere, pouring rain on me, and then the wind picks up, like 50-mile-an-hour winds, something like that, blowing through this little crevice that I'm in, ripping through my tarp, and I'm just laying there like, man, this sucks. I'm getting wet because rain's blowing under the tarp. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. And anyway, I'm trying to fall asleep, and I finally get to a point where I'm about to knock out. I'm like, okay, I think I can deal with this. And then one of my corners rips out, and my tarp starts flapping in the wind. I'm like, this is horrible. So I have to get out of my sleeping bag, put my hiking shoes back on, which are pretty soaked at this point. Get out from under my tarp and go find a different boulder, because apparently the one I grabbed wasn't heavy enough. I'm bringing this boulder back, and the rain let up a little, but it's still really, really windy. I get back to the corner of the tarp. I'm about to set it down, and then my entire side of my tarp rips out of the ground. Trekking pole on the ground, only attached by like one rock at this point. I slam my boulder on the ground, and it breaks into a bunch of pieces. I screamed some curse words into the night. Had a yelling match with God. I'm like, why? Why would you do this? And then I'm like, screw it, I'm going to bed. So I climb back into my sleeping bag, which is a little wet at this point, lay on my mat, which is pretty wet at this point, and just pull the tarp over me. hold on to it for dear life. Wow. And then it starts pouring again. And so I'm getting wet. I'm cold. I'm trying to fall asleep. I got maybe 1 hour of sleep that night because it poured all night. And the next morning, I was finally able to get out, set up my shelter right, change my flagging at 6:30 in the morning, which was like 3 hours early. And then I crawl back into bed and take a nap for like 3 hours, try and get a little bit of sleep. It was just a hard moment. In the moment, sucked. But the next morning after I woke up from my nap, I'm sitting there in this little cove in the rock that Cody showed me, which is pretty awesome. Sitting in my crazy creek, just thinking back on it. There was a reflection question that Cody and Susan had asked to kind of think back on while we were on the solo. And it was, what is God trying to tell you through creation? And that night led to some serious revelations about what I was thinking. And then something crazy happened. I wrote a poem, which is very rare for me because I hate English. Never liked English in high school. Even worse at writing poetry. But it was kind of good. I shared it with my group. They really liked it and kind of like inspired me to like, yeah, maybe you should pursue this a little bit more. Keep trying to write some more poems. So I kept trying, wrote some other ones. And then about 30 days, a little bit more than 30 days, at the campsite we were at when we went cliff jumping. And we had a good Devo, and then we had one-on-ones. One-on-twos, I guess, with our instructors. They gave another framing question to think about, to kind of reflect on, to get back to them about. And it was, what has God been speaking to you in the past 30-ish days, and through what? And they kind of were like, were talking about maybe you should try and do it from the heart, not the head. This is like, don't just like write an answer, like try and really feel what you're writing. Try and speak from the heart. And so I was like, I think this would be a great time to try and write another poem. It's probably like third one in. And so I did, and I wrote a poem, and everyone seemed to like it, and then they said I should share it tonight. And I think I will. So I would like to share this poem with you, and this is kind of some of the things that I feel like God was speaking to me on this trip in poem. So this poem is called I Need. Right. I have a need. I need to know, to always completely and unexcusably know. Know right from wrong, know what to do, know all the answers and all the information all the time. Know that others know to trust me to know. I need to be strong. Strong enough to carry my own weight, my own emotional weight, my own physical weight. Strong enough to stand tall and never lean on anything or anyone. Strong enough to be the pillar others lean their weight upon, never bending, never breaking. I need to not be a burden onto others, burdening them with my inconvenience, burdening them with my insecurities, burdening them with my time, burdening them with my presence, like a mosquito buzzing in your ear when you're trying to get some rest. I need to be angry. Angry at things, angry at the moment, angry at God. Never angry at others, but only angry with myself. It's good for me to be angry, for anger is the only emotion I feel. And if I bottle it up, it'll only turn into anger. I need to be quiet. Children are meant to be seen and not heard, right? And I am only but a child. If I were to say something, I would only be embarrassed and looked down on. So I'll just stay quiet. Quiet to others, quiet to the world, quiet to God, quiet to myself. But are these the needs I have that I truly have? No. I have a need. I need to know God. Not just know of him, but to know him. To completely and unexcusably trust him. To know that he's in control. To know that I don't need the answers. I don't need the information. That he knows right from wrong and I don't need to be trusted to know. To know he is my father and I his son with nothing to prove. I need to be vulnerable. Not weak, but strong enough to let others in. Vulnerable enough to share my load. Vulnerable enough to let enough to let myself lean on others for support. Letting others help me and be my pillar for once. I need to not be my own burden. Not let myself get in the way of sharing the person I am with others. Not let myself get in the way of others sharing my insecurities. That way we might mutually grow. Not let myself get in the way of building deep, meaningful, and loving relationships. I need to be ashamed and lonely and afraid. I need to not just live and feed into anger, but let myself grow by feeling and acknowledging all my emotions. That way I may feel anger less and joy more. I need to be myself, not who I think I am, but the man God has made me to be. The man I am still figuring out. The man with a big heart who is not afraid to use his voice, to help others, not to hurt. The man who is awed and in constant wonder of God and his love. The man who does his absolute best to show that love to everyone he meets. The man who is fearfully and wonderfully made. Oh yes, now this is what I need. That is my plan. Yeah. So that was a bit of surprise to me. Very crazy. My sister is the English major in the family, and so it's very weird for me to be doing stuff like this. Yeah, and I feel like that's just kind of what God was speaking to me. And I wouldn't quite say that this trip has changed me, because something that we had talked about on the trip is that change is something that comes at the end of a journey. I have grown, and I will continue to try to grow and to lead that growth into the rest of my life, and hopefully change will come at the end. And that is me. Now, it is Caden's turn.
Hello, everybody. Taller? No, that's just construction boots. Hello, everybody. I'm back. It's been a wild journey. Long 40 days with Samuel and Jameson, Cody and Susan, and Brighton at times. First, I'd like to show my appreciation for my team. Jameson, it was amazing watching you on that journey and having no seizures the whole time. And knowing that we prayed for you at the beginning, that it would go well, and hoping that you'll be healed from that. Sam, I've seen so much emotional growth in you. At times, I could see you lean into frustration, but I saw you mature a lot over this journey. And Cody and Susan, I can't express how much gratitude I have for the times you sat with me in those hard moments when I'm struggling with my own self. I also, with Jameson, was supposed to do the 40 last year, but unfortunately it didn't work out, and that was a hard season of life. My parents were there for me from a long distance away, and the Grusendorfs.
Amen.
You guys are like family now, and thank you so much for your time and energy. And Adam, you're like a mentor, a father figure now. Mary, you've become like a mother figure. Cora and Sarah, you're like sisters. And Emma, you've loved me so much through a lot when I don't even believe in myself.
Wow. Amen.
So, as a reference, when I was about 9 or 10 years old, we were on the way to school, and we had a terrible tragedy happen. We got into a car accident, and I lost my little sister. And my baby sister, Hope, has been stuck in a chair since. And Hope, I can't express how much admiration I have for you. I don't know how you've remained so joyful over these years, and how amazing of a person you are, and how much you try to help other people, because I couldn't do that. When I got a little older, because of the chaos that went through my family because of this tragedy, and wondering why, I fell into a lot of addiction. I've had a lot of dark vices. I've leaned into a lot of dark things. and I've had nothing but a lot of hatred in my life at that point. But clearly something changed. I'm here now. I've been through rehab. I've attempted to try counseling and therapy, but I was very stubborn and did not try very hard. And it's been a slow process since I got out of rehab the second time. And I can't express how much admiration I also have for my parents. Through all the things I put you through, knowing what I was doing wrong, and just knowing that you had to watch me do that and not caring at the time. And the fact that you kept being there for me, no matter what. I can't express how much appreciation I have. And maybe at times you feel like you failed me, but you have not. One of my peak dedications was to my father, and the reason being is that I find my father to be like a mountain. He's always there. He's strong, he's sturdy, he's unmoving. No matter how many things try to knock him down, he's still standing tall. And you've been a role model for me my whole life because of that.
Amen.
Mom, you've loved me and cared for me in such a hard season of life. And the patience you held for me is remarkable. Especially, I can only imagine how hard that would be. Papa and Anna, I haven't seen y'all a ton of times since I've moved out here, but the few times that we've been together have been very impactful for me. Especially Papa, when you took me out to Yellowstone, we saw the Tetons when the 40 didn't happen last year. That helped me a lot. I don't know if you know that, but it really did. Yeah, and the disappointment of not getting to do the 40 last year was very confusing and hard. I've never worked so hard for something in my life. And because of a lot of those places in addiction and just self-views I've had for my whole life, I've always felt like a very weak, cowardly person. And I felt like the 40 would prove otherwise. And I put in a lot of hours, a lot of time, and through rain, sleet, and whatever. Now, it's not as impressive as Wyoming sleet. It was Missouri sleet. But it was sleet nevertheless. And I felt like I would gain a lot of value from doing the 40 last year, because I felt like it would show the people, my parents, my grandparents, anybody who might have been in my life, that I'm no longer this broken kid who just can't handle reality. And I didn't get that. And it felt like I got robbed. Over time, people close to me in my life, we've all agreed that it just wasn't the right season just because of how many things I was working through. And that, like Jameson, it was God's will to do it this year. Over the last year and a half, at first it was slow because I was just confused and just moved out of my parents' house halfway across the country. At one point, I had water in the air and then, humidity. And then now I have sand in my toes. It was a very confusing time to be a young man out here. But I feel like the Grusendorfs especially, a part of that deep appreciation is how much Adam poured into me at work. All those conversations of just talking about life and figuring things out. Mary becoming like a mother figure and treating me like one of her own. And Cora and Sarah picking on me and me picking on them back. And Emma just pouring into me with love that I didn't know anybody could ever hold for me. because I never truly believed in it for myself. But as time went on, I started developing more and more of a community, not just with these people, but with some friends at the Rock. Chris, living with him at the D house and whatnot. And eventually I got to here. I got to do the 40. It was finally here. And to be honest, I never really truly believed that it was really going to happen. And I think that was just me hiding behind a belief that I don't want to get hurt again. So I'm just going to imagine it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be disappointed again. But it happened. And to be honest, because of not believing in it, there was not a lot of effort gone into the 40 initially. For me, at least, I questioned whether I wanted to do it or not, and just a lot of fear and anxiousness around it. And next thing you knew, I was in a van, and I'm on the way to Vitavue. And there's so many moments on this 40 that have been so impactful. Having a brotherly relationship with Jameson and Sam, because like brothers, we messed with each other, we picked on each other, we were obnoxious. Not just me, everyone looked at me, but also I had a lot of fun with you guys. Jameson, you just being silly, but then having moments of this deep wisdom that just came out of nowhere. Sam, you just being like a little bro and just messing with each other, being crass and whatnot through the whole time, all the horribleness of that trip. But yeah, and you guys made that trip a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys for that. Oh, shucks. But as many fun stories we have that you've heard from some people, there's been the development of so much inner healing on this trip. I came into the 40 not understanding anything good about myself, despite all the people pouring into me through this last year and a half. It was just neutral, nothing. I don't understand who I am, and I don't understand my identity, and yeah, it was just very confusing, because one of the first things we did right before we left was we had a conversation about understanding each other in our weak moments and talking about strengths and stuff like that. I didn't know what strengths I had. Even though I've had people tell me so many times, I just didn't see it. But over this course, I've really developed a sense of identity, and it's kind of strange and a little surreal to feel like I finally know myself after spending so much time knowing a false version of myself. One of the moments I had during my solo, I had 48 hours with me, myself, and I. And as a person with not understanding myself and sometimes really not liking myself, that's very challenging. But I decided I'd spend a lot of time in scripture, something I'm not very used to doing till I got onto the 40. It's always been very confusing and hard to read, but in the Bible I got from Shram, there's a 40-day reading plan for it. And I didn't finish it all the way, but we're working on it. But on the solo, I'm sitting there reading scripture, looking at this lake down in front of me, beautiful mountains, and I've been out here for a little while. I've had people pouring into me, fun times, hard times, crying, laughing, all the fun stuff. And this day, I read Joshua 1, and while I'm reading this, the wind's picking up, I can feel God around me. The energy in the air was electric. It's the best way I could put it. It was just mind-boggling. And I might read this for you. And it was specifically verses 5 through 9 that really stuck out to me. And for some just for some reference, this is a moment where God was talking to Joshua. And it felt like, even though God was talking to another man a long time ago, it felt like in this moment he was using that to speak to me. Joshua 1, verse 5. No man shall be able to stand before you all the days of your life. Just as I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not leave you or forsake you. Verse 6. Be strong and courageous, for you shall cause this people to inherit the land that I swore to their fathers. Verse 7. Only be strong and courageous, being careful to do according to all the law that my servant Moses commanded you. Do not turn to it from the right or the left, that you may have good success wherever you may go. Verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you shall be careful to do according to all that is written in it. For you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have great success. Verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you.
Wow.
The other thing I'd like to share with you guys is an I am statement that I made. Susan made a framing question for us for, I think it was our student led, so it would have been towards the end of the trip. And in the beginning, we had some I am on identity stuff, and like I've previously stated, I didn't understand, and it was just kind of hard. But I found that this time it was a lot easier. There was caution and fear, but I found it a lot easier to be able to write these things down about myself and to absorb it and believe it. The framing question was, name the ways that you encountered the Father speaking to you in the past 30 days. What did he say to you? One of the things was being able to be free with my team. Susan and Cody, we had some good moments of sharing some deep wounds and struggles, and I cried with Susan in the beginning of the trip. Felt like a little bit of a baby, but I chose to be very vulnerable with her. And at the beginning of the trip, we also got to share our story with each other. It was a very short, brief version, but my team listened to me, and I didn't feel like they ever judged me for it. And I deeply appreciated that. So, being free to share with my team, I felt like I am worth being acknowledged and heard. And the long I am statement that I wrote about myself was, I felt like throughout the trip, I had my identity spoken into me by my team, by God, and through scripture like I just shared. And what I felt like I heard to him, I'm in real time doing what's called thought rhyming. My grandpa taught me about that one. And essentially, that is when you're sitting and you're with God, and basically he's speaking into you through thoughts, and you're connecting to him through the mind. He told me that I'm strong and courageous, I am valuable and wanted. I am helpful and responsible, and I am an example and a leader. I am fun and encouraging, I am competent and creative. I am who I am, and this cannot be changed in the Father's eyes and those who know me truly. I'm a warrior, beloved, and blessed by Christ.
Wow. That was awesome.
Those are some hard acts to follow up. Yeah, my words can't express how proud I am of these three young men. And I think like the transformation that we got to see, it's a rare and beautiful jewel. And I think it's something that God's investing in, and he's going to bless them tenfold.
Yeah.
think he's going to bless the communities around them when they go back in ways that none of us can imagine, none of us can dream of. Yeah, God's going to work his perfect and good will through them. So I'm super proud of you guys. Yeah. As far as my personal reflections that I wanted to share, they are very much in process. I think there's something unique about getting to lead a trip like this. Back in 2020, I was a student standing here. And God, through Storms, had a huge impact on my life. I'm here investing back in that. And that's why I had the opportunity to be a leader here. But at that time, I was struggling with similar things to Caden, Sam, and Jameson. Each of them had ways that, it's like, wow, I remember saying something exactly like that about myself or way I viewed God. And I think that was encouraging for me in some ways because, okay, wow, God spoke to me about those things. I can walk in faith that he's going to speak to them in these as well.
Amen.
And so they ministered to me through that. Just going into the course, I think in life right now, I'm at a pretty big transition place, just season of life. I, 5-ish years out of college, married for 2 years now. Lots of big seasons of life and transition, and that my experience with the 40 happened just before a lot of all of that. And I'm not the same since that summer, and I'm not the same since this summer. I see that this time I just had different questions. I had different things I was bringing to God. A little bit more about how to be a man than last time. It's like, yeah, I want to know how to be a man last time, but I'm like, man, I'm a husband. I'm an instructor. I have responsibilities at SROM. How do I do this, God? And I remember pretty early on in the Winds, I've had a habit for a few years, just a personal rhythm of life, that I've been reading a proverb for every day in July. And it was July 3rd, so I read Proverbs 3. And there was this verse that just jumped out at me. Sometimes you read scripture and God just puts something out there for you. And you're like, okay, I'm not sure, but it sticks to your heart. And it's Proverbs 3:3. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. And I think slowly God's been teaching me that's part, at least, of what being a man is. And I think I got a chance to daily try to practice that with these guys. And I really do mean practice. I went into the trip pretty tired. It was a long spring. I had lots of trainings for professional development. There was also a lot of trips that Susan and I were doing with support raising and trying to get ourselves set up better financially for the rest of our lives. And we were also buying a house. It was a crazy. We closed our house 14 days before we left, 2 weeks before the trip. That was our closing day. And I was tired going into this trip. And if you've ever had the chance to lead something, anything, big or small, you don't feel good going into something tired. You're like, I feel like I don't like having limits going into this. And I very much felt like a weak leader. And I had to constantly ask myself, how do I lead as a weak leader? And so that love and faithfulness, that I was so curious. I'm like, okay, God, how do I never let love and faithfulness leave me? Because when you're tired, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, it's really easy for love and faithfulness to drop from how we interact with each other. And I found myself daily in the place of learning what it was like to practice love and faithfulness and have love and faithfulness practiced to me. From each of my students, from my wife, from Brighton, and if you ever get to spend 40 days with a spouse, if you're married, away from the pressures and pace of the world, I can highly recommend. And it's ridiculously hard and exposing at the same time. You think normal day-to-day life in marriage is exposing. Try 24/7 and trying to lead together and figuring out, like, okay, what's our vision for the day? Oh, it's not the same. All right, let's storm this out. Oh, you had a different idea for this activity? All right. I guess we talk about it again. And learning to practice love and faithfulness with my wife. And this is something I think I'm going to be reflecting on for a long time. And yeah, I think Craig, one of my good friends and mentors, if you're watching this, so he's a good friend of mine, a mentor. He's told me a lot about turning RPMs into MPHs. If you think about a car, you have your RPMs, rotations per minute. You know, that's how loud is your engine revving. I feel like I did a lot of engine revving on this course internally. And I'm like, like working hard to do this. And now I think like God's saying, like, okay, it's time to get some MPHs, miles per hour, rubber on the road. So I think I'm going to be learning what that looks like after this. And I'm so grateful to my team. So grateful to the Father for the new ways he's consistently spoken to me. This is the third time I've been blessed to be able to be on a 40. One time being a student, one other time getting to instruct. And each time he speaks something different, just like being in his word. Yeah. And I have one more thing that I'm going to share. And then all of us are going to share something with you, a liturgy that we actually practiced every day. Yeah, I'm going to share something with you. I need to get some props. So for some context, one of my first instructors, her name is Emily Cable. Hi, Emily, if you're watching this. She's an incredibly fun-loving and just really beautiful person. She served doing full-time staff here at Saram for many years and poured a lot. And I actually interned with her and then eventually like moved into her role. And I remember from the 40s, she always was writing funny songs or really like ridiculous poetry. And so I was inspired at one point. And I wrote a letter that I might read the title, and Andrew might run for the camera to shut it off.
Cue the off.
Yeah, right. It's called A Behoovement and a Warning for All Those Going to Wilderness Places. And I was told I needed a pipe and glasses and perhaps my best British accent.
And a crazy creep.
I know, I don't have the crazy Greek, but it doesn't really work with the camera. So, it sounds scary. And I really hope it doesn't make you not want to go to the wilderness. If anything, I hope it brings you to really appreciate the experience of this. And if you've been to the wilderness a lot, I think you're going to enjoy it. If not, I think you're going to get a picture of what God does in wilderness. So yeah, this was special to me because I was so tired. Finding a place to lean into joy and creativity brought me a lot of life. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So, thus we must begin. A behoovement and a warning for all those going to wilderness places. This letter is addressed to all, both young and old alike, who are being romanced to journey away into those terrible lands deemed wilderness. One must see that this space is not for the faint of heart, or really any heart for that matter. However, a great many have been seduced by its canyons, mountains, and great bodies of water. Even some are so enraptured by its so-called beauty that they call themselves guides or instructors, living out there, dedicating their whole lives to playing Pied Piper for unsuspecting folk, dragging them in under the cover of conniving organizations. Most people never want to leave said space afterwards. Thus, I have set out to say by the writing of this letter, I behoove you and warn you. Do not journey into those foul places they call wilderness, or you may never come back. There are many logical, sound, and clear reasons as to why one must never go there, and I've spent years sacrificing myself to build up this library against wilderness fallacies. Yes, I do speak from experience, so commit this to heart, for it may just keep you from getting lost. Therefore, without further delay, I give you 10 reasons not to go to the wilderness. Number 10, Squamster Syndrome. You see, a squamster is anything small to large with fur that likes people food. Generally cute, they easily beguile innocent wilderness travelers of all their food, and sometimes gear. If they cannot win your food by aforementioned cuteness, they quickly resort to nefarious or even hostile means of procurement, putting any special forces group to shame. The most particularly terrible class of squamster being the marmot. A creature that God has instilled no fear of Adam or Eve. About the size of a house cat, but having the resemblance of a land beaver with a sassy cat's tail attached instead of a powder. I've seen marmots assemble, surround groups, and descend like a pack of wolves. I've even observed one disarm an electrified fence, guarding food, to make way for its other companions in mayhem. That happened this trip.
No way, really.
If food is somehow protected well enough from a marmot, they will resort to even more dire measures, consuming gear until one is forced to comply. In my wilderness travels, I've seen trekking poles, boots, and yes, even helmets consumed. How fortunate are we that these beasts have solely chosen to reside in amongst the rocks and wild places. Were they to break those bonds, we surely would be consumed. I've nearly been. Shortly, they would be sleeping in our beds, driving our cars, eating in our restaurants. But I digress. That's for a different type of letter. Number 9, Mo Big Problems. Of course, there are the obvious things with claws and teeth in the wilderness. Oh, but what I have previously described are not even the worst of creatures lurking in the wilderness. There is another vampirous creature living only for your blood and pain. In hordes it descends to blacken the sky of all places you can think would be pleasant or safe. You see, Mo is short for mosquito, and is commonly used to describe the variety found in the wilderness. Simply put, the average human can only begin the word mosquito before having all his blood drained or being driven mad and wild from their swarming. Thus, they are commonly called Mo, or Mo's if someone happens to possess enough will to pluralize their presence before being consumed. Number 8, the broken record. Another terrifying phenomena of wilderness is an effect on one's mind, known as the broken record. As one gets further from civilization, he finds himself becoming more like a beast, losing the ability to possess one of the hallmarks of humanity, music. The digression starts small with a forgotten lyric or two. The individual pays nothing of the mind to it. Then eventually, oh wait, hold on. Gotta read my handwriting. But slowly, their library and attachment to culture dwindles. Then eventually, they can remember nothing but the chorus of one song. If they are with a group, split-ups become common at this point, and the individual is left to wither. In severe cases, the whole group may succumb to the broken record. The only effective treatment discovered to date is to isolate the individuals in a locked room and play whatever song they're stuck in all the way through. Number 7, the law of angles. The wilderness traveler is nearly immediately put to reckon with this law of wilderness physics. For clarity's sake, I will not digress into the mechanics of gravity, load, or the effect of quarks or atoms on the human body, nor will I blend this principle with the next. But all this to say, in short, when you engage in wilderness travel, you will always find this law in effect. In order to go downhill, you must go uphill. And in order to go uphill, you must go downhill. Number 6, the awe to crap spectrum. This next warning is similar to the last. However, it describes the psychological effect of wilderness travel on the human mind. Admittedly, there are beautiful places in the wilderness, many of such beauty that it cannot be properly described in the written word. However, do not let this fallacy entice you to lose yourself over something pretty to look at. We find this at play when we seek these places. To get to beautiful places, one has to work hard. This simply will not do, lest we forget our culture and great technology that allows us to view anything we want from conveniently tiny screens in front of our faces. Let me warn you through the teaching of this psychological principle. On one end of the spectrum, we have the experience of awe, a sense of wonder. On the other end, we have crap. I think you understand that one. As the physical difficulty goes up, one's mind moves from awe to crap. However, this theory sometimes collapses at literal peaks of exertion, climbing to beautiful places, where one looks back and simply says, "Ah, crap." Number 5, too much of a good thing. Yes, there's too much of a good thing. The wilderness has taught me this. I cannot contain it within a screen, my mind, or a 30-second video from TikTok. There's a reason our forefathers left the wilderness and built our great cities, highways, and McDonald's. The human mind can't fathom the wilderness. Just ask 10 different people on the street what wilderness is, and you will get 10 different answers. The wilderness is too much for man. Number 4, miniaturization. Man finds himself at a place in the wilderness where he can no longer engage in the comforts we all enjoy. Imagine and tremble as I describe the miniaturization you would experience in the wilderness. It gets cold. You can't turn up your thermostat. It rains. You can't just go inside and watch with a warm cup of tea. A storm morphs from nuisance to theophany, and you have lost the control we so dearly love and treasure. As I narrow down to the final 3 of my behoovements and warnings, the reader must know that these cut the deepest and result in things never being the same, more so than any of the other behoovements and warnings. Take heed and beware. Number 3, the mirror paradox. The mirror paradox occurs when one travels into the wilderness with others. Without the luxuries of careers, possessions, or technology, all you have to show is you. Unfortunately, the idea that there is safety in numbers does not work in the wilderness, but it works against you. Without your daily life to hide the less polished parts of you behind, any mask starts to crumble, and those people will see you. I shudder at the thought of being seen and known. Number 2, the silent voice. Perhaps you aren't planning on journeying into wilderness with others in order to mitigate the effects of the mirror paradox. Unfortunately, the conniving wilderness has a backup plan called the silent voice. As the name implies, this phenomenon occurs in silence, which is stacked in ample supply in the places I am warning you about. Without Spotify, YouTube, the news, a human being is left in these spaces with a lonely silence. The wilderness speaks, and those who represent it double the harping of babbling brooks, bird song, and wind-blown snow over ice. These are all sirens calling us into silence that reaches deep within us until we are left with a spine-tingling realization that all we can hear is ourselves, and perhaps for the first time, the still small voice rumored to live here. Number 1, transformation. The last and most formidable of all these occurrences I speak of cannot, unfortunately, be avoided in wilderness places. This occurrence is transformation. Transformation in this context could be described as the sense that what once was I am is now what was. And instead there's a new I am.
Amen.
There is no one that this author knows of that has come back from wilderness without this transformation. For those of us that avoid the hazard of change readily, I do not need to belabor or double my words. You will listen and heed my behoovements. For some of you, with wanderlust in your hearts though, I implore you that change is a terrible thing. Transformation ruins the images that we hold of ourselves, the fermentation of old habits, and the will to remain our own healers. Take heart. Transformation happens in the wilderness. Perhaps you can tell me who arranges it. What maker designed this? In conclusion, I hope you can see that there are at least several clear, sound reasons to not venture into wilderness places. For those of you planning to journey into the wilderness, I behoove and warn you. Do not go there, for you will be exposed, bitten, worn out, awed to crap, and never come back the same person. Prove me wrong if you dare. Sincerely, a recovering wilderness instructor. Thanks, guys. That warms my heart. All right, team, let's do this. So we're going to lead a liturgy called A Liturgy for the Pilgrim, because we were on a bit of a pilgrim's journey. And so feel free to sit or stand. You can do either. But there's some hand motions. Oh, apparently we need to squeeze in a little bit more. We good?
Not as much space.
There we go. Right?
That is the right way. You're right.
There we go.
All right. We good? Are we good? This way. That makes sense.
Too much.
Oh,
Alright. Jameson, if you just move in a little bit more.
Okay.
this is going to get interesting.
Oh, you can see it.
This is gonna get interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
All your
Alright.
faces are in screen.
Okay, awesome.
So, we'll repeat. We'll say the phrase, and then you guys repeat after us, and you can do the hand motions with us. I think it's a great way to end our night and send everybody off on your pilgrim's journey to be with God. And yeah, really want to thank you all for coming tonight, and really appreciate your presence, your time, your effort in being here, for blessing us. And yeah, our prayer is that it was a blessing to you, and that you can bring it to others as well.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you guys.
Woo, yeah, thank you, Strong. All right, Sam, you want to lead us out?
Go for it.
All right.
You have the greatest memory.
Said I was going to do that.
Yeah. So you guys can join in.
Sitting or standing?
Either works. Jesus, light the path ahead and guide me on your way today.
You guys can repeat.
Jesus, light the path ahead and guide me on your way today.
Just feet. Bless these weary, wandering feet and give them strength to follow you.
Bless these weary and wandering feet and give them strength to follow you.
Hit your shoulders. May my burdens tumble free so I can walk in grace and hope.
May my burdens tumble free so I may walk in grace and hope.
Cheers. Let no clamor of the world drown out your voice that calls my name.
Let no clamor of the world drown out your voice that calls my name.
Shut your eyes. Let me see your beauty bloom in every flower and every face.
Let me see your beauty bloom in every flower and every face.
Touch your lips. Bless my words that they may bless each pilgrim that I pass this day.
Bless my words that they may bless every pilgrim that I pass this day.
Touch your heart. Lord and lover of my soul, bind up the broken parts of me.
Lord and lover of my soul, bind up the broken parts of me.
So I with broken heart made whole may praise your everlasting love.
So I with broken heart made whole, may praise your everlasting love.
Make of me a pilgrim's inn to welcome all who wander near.
Make me a pilgrim's inn to welcome all who wander near.
And when the day is done, O Jesus, bring me safely home to you.
And when the day is done, Jesus, bring me safely home to you.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you, Father.
Amen.
Closing words.
No, I think, thank you all. I think you guys might want to do one more little time together as a group
Yeah.
before we dismiss. So we're going to give them a little bit of time, and then we'll fellowship and then greet you guys. But thank you all for being here. It's a tremendous blessing, and thank you guys for sharing.